Welcome back to Design Build Workshop and a little update on where I am with the HO scale layout and some of the buildings that we've been designing. So if you remember from before, the green area that's taped off on the layout is where the factory was going to end up being placed, approximately. And so obviously this is the main building, and I haven't really decided on where everything's going to go yet. I just kind of wanted to fabricate and see where we ended up with. And then I've got the footprint for the other one, which is this, which I think is less than half than what this one is. I'm doing a bit of a closer shot so you can kind of see, some of the detail in the building, which you've seen before. But I'm thinking about, so the train's going to be operated from that side, from where the camera is right now. So that's primarily the way you're going to be looking at it. So I would kind of like the front of the building to be towards that direction. So maybe I even come over this way a little bit and then have this one over here and then have another building over this way. I've got a lot of room to configure. I just want to figure out how to run my sidings and get these in a good position so they look nice and they look like they're appropriate and make sense for the placement that they're in. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now with this. And the big thing that I'm doing right now is basically getting my cork bed put down. And then the next thing after that is to really get the twin tracks, the two tracks that are here to get set up. And as far as the layout, it's probably where I have the least experience. So if anybody has any tips or ideas on things that I need to kind of be doing as I'm doing my layout, the buildings and all that kind of stuff, all the design, that kind of stuff, I'm really up on, and I've got a lot of experience with that. But as far as, I've got to run electrical to the buildings and to the tracks, all that kind of stuff. And this is my first, set with this. And the only thing that's really holding this together is the wood frame. And then I've got plywood that's glued on the bottom of it. So it's kind of acting like a sup panel, helping this thing keep rigid. But I have a feeling I'm going to need to run some other supports underneath when I start putting more stuff on here and this starts gathering up a little more weight. The secondary building we've got going on so far, I've got the base, I've got my I-beam structures for the support. Those are all completed and painted. And then I've got my side walls, which are both done. And then I have my end walls, and they're basically the same wall. So what I'm doing is, one, when it goes together, one's gonna be like so, and then the big door on the other side will be over here, like that. And then this one's got kind of a cupola design. So this is going to be the roof section, and these all fit here. So when the roof goes on, they're all kind of lined up. And then what happens then, we have these wooden pieces. Obviously they're 3D printed, but it's supposed to be wood that'll go along the top edge like that. And then this will be along here, if that makes any sense. So that'll be like this, and this piece will be like so, and then the roof will go on top of that. And then the interior, I think this is going to be, I'm going to make this one the rolling mill once I figure out how to lay out the inside. And so what I mean by that is, when the other main factory produces the ingots, essentially, that they're going to make, when they're taking the pig iron and converting it into wrought iron, then that's going to come into this building, and then basically they're going to roll those pieces out to bar stock. And then once the bar stock's rolled out, that'll be cut into lengths, and that'll be sent to another facility or another building where they're actually going to hammer that out into various tools and shapes and that kind of thing. So that's where we're at right now. Thanks again for joining me on Design Build Workshop and the update of the HL scale layout. I really appreciate your viewership, so if you would like to subscribe, that would be great, and I hope to see you next time.